Hi, this is Annalie Kruger, the owner of Care Rights Incorporated. Today's topic, the good, the bad, and the ugly of aging in place at home. I work with families across the country in developing their aging plan. When I ask my clients, what's your plan as you age? Where are you going to live? Who's going to take care of you? How is that care going to get paid? And how do you think your family relationships will hold up if you don't have a plan in place? Most of my clients, as you can imagine, say, I want to age in place at home, I want to stay at home, I want to die at home. Okay, that's great. So we talk about that. How well did you plan for that? Because it can be 2 to 3 times as expensive as moving into a community. Who's going to take care of you as you get more and more frail and more dependent? Are your kids in a financial and relationship position to be able to be your caregivers and come to your rescue every time there's an issue or every time you go to the hospital? What kind of conversations have you had with your family about your aging plan and what you already have in place? Do you have long-term care insurance? Does it cover what you think it will cover? The other day I was working with a family that bought their policy 25 years ago. They finally, as a family, decided, yep, we're going to move to assisted living. They called me to help them sort out their options and have their family meeting. I said, bring whatever it is you have in place. Let's dust it off and take a look at it and see what it covers. We did the Care Right Grab and Go binder. You can get that on the website. And you can also check out the Grab and Go binder video that I did a little while ago. And so we're doing this whole process of putting this plan together. I join in families' journey wherever you are. This family was at the point where they've decided they want to leave their home and move into assisted living. Lo and behold, their long-term care insurance coverage is only for home care, staying at home, or nursing home or nursing facility level of care. So they kind of had to rethink, okay, what are we going to do? Can we afford to move into assisted living knowing that now that's going to be completely out of pocket? So when we talk about aging in place at home, we talk about what does that really look like? It's hard for people to think about that right now when they're maybe younger and vibrant and they're still active. But I can tell you, with working with seniors my entire career, that as you get older, you lose mobility. Most of the clients that chose to age in place at home, the TV ends up being their stimulation. They end up more anxious, they end up depressed, they end up more confused because they don't have proper nutrition. They eat whatever's easy. That's why if you have aging parents, you should be popping open that pantry and that refrigerator, see what they're actually eating. My hunch is that they're eating potato chips or cookies or whatever is easy to open because of arthritis, because they're weak, because it's hard to navigate around in the kitchen if you have a wheelchair or a walker. It could be unsafe at the house if they have, the basement and that's where the laundry facilities are. Could be unsafe in the kitchen if they have, the microwave is up high and your mom is like mine, who's only 4'10". She can't reach the microwave safely. So where does it have to go? What kind of home renovations do you need to do and how expensive is that going to be? And does it make sense for those renovations to be done? It depends on what your goals are and how much you can afford. If you renovate the house, what is that going to do to the return on investment when you go to resell it? When we look at aging in place at home, we look at and know that seniors are going to lose their mobility. They don't walk around as much if they live by themselves. They might not drink as much water because if you drink, you have to go to the bathroom. If you have to get up and move around and you have arthritis or you have congestive heart failure or COPD or you have anything else that's going to cause you pain and discomfort or a fall risk, you're not going to move around very much. If you don't use those muscles, you lose those muscles. Once you get in a wheelchair, it's pretty much where you're going to be. So think about aging in place at home. It's not as romantic as what people think it is going to be. I have clients that say, well, my neighbors will come over and check on me. I wouldn't bank on that. Number one, that's a big responsibility for a neighbor, and they can do that temporarily. But if that's your plan, that's not a sustainable plan and it's unrealistic. A lot of people also think that they can stay at home and manage their own medications. I can tell you that with forgetfulness, sometimes clients are taking their medications 2 or 3 times a day, or they're not taking it at all. So really think about, okay, if your loved one is saying that they want to stay at home, what does that really look like? How are they going to get to and from places, which is mostly doctor's appointments? Can they ride an Uber? Do you feel comfortable with your loved one in Uber? If your loved one has mobility issues, Uber is not going to take them. Take a look at their fall risk. What's going on in that house that might be causing them falls? If they're dehydrated, they're going to be at a fall risk. If they're not moving around and exercising enough, they're going to be a fall risk. If they have dementia, they're a fall risk. If they have visual impairments, they're a fall risk. If they're diabetic, are they managing their diabetes on their own? And are they managing it properly? If they're incontinent, they're not holding their bowel and bladder, that can cause urinary tract infections, which can cause a delirium, which makes them weak, lethargic, and usually hospitalized so that they don't get septic. So if the plan is to age in place at home, really think about what that's going to look like. The house, I can tell you, ends up feeling really, really big and really overwhelming, especially if your loved one is a widow. And especially if the husband, because in that day and age, it was the husband that took care of the household and the car. So if the husband passed away, how comfortable is your mom going to be there at the house by herself, looking around the house thinking, oh my goodness, this needs to be painted, the house needs a roof, the carpet is bubbled and so I'm falling on the carpet. There's just a lot of things to think about if you have aging loved ones and you're going to try this whole aging in place at home. The last tip I'll give you when you're considering aging in place at home is that in my experience, most people don't want to have the traffic that comes in and out of the house. What does that mean? That means that as you age in place at home and you need more and more care, you're going to have to hire it out to a home care company. And that'll be a whole nother video. But you're going to have to hire it out because as a family, you're not going to be able to meet the demands that are going to be needed if you have aging parents. The typical family caregiver just in the beginning spends an average of 22.4 hours per week for one aging loved one. A lot of my daughters, when they call me because they're burned out, they might be taking care of or managing the care of up to 6 aging loved ones. Who? Their parents, their step-parents, their in-laws who they may or may not have liked in the first place, and then that stray aunt or uncle who either outlived their kids or never got married. So think about what is your capacity as a family member? What can you do feasibly that's going to not jeopardize your health, your emotional well-being, your socialization, your family relationships, your job, your marriage, and everything else that goes along with being a family caregiver. So aging in place at home can work as long as you have an aging plan in place and as long as you have reliable home care workers. When you look at needing home care, there's going to be multiple people coming in and out of that house every single day. Home care companies try to pair you with the right fit caregiver, but as you can imagine, in this day and age, it's very difficult to find quality applicants that you would trust to take care of your aging loved ones. Many of my clients have cameras in the home just as another layer of peace of mind so that you can check on your loved one and you can also check on to see what is being done or not done for your loved one. Also, when you look at aging in place at home, not only do you have multiple family or multiple caregivers, professional caregivers coming in, but you also have therapies coming in, physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech. You have the nurse. You might have the skin nurse if your loved one has wounds. You might have a diabetic nurse come in if your loved one has diabetes. You'd have someone like me coming in or calling on you to check on you as your advocate to make sure you're doing all right. So just know that there's a lot of things to think about before you embark on that aging in place at home. It's worth a free 30-minute phone consult with me to just find out what's working, what's not working well, what are the goals, and how is this going to all get paid if you stay at home. Home care roughly costs $28 an hour depending on your demographic or where you live. So look at the long-term care insurance if there is a policy or if they're going to self-pay. if they don't have money, they're not going to be able to stay at home. So think about aging in place at home and what that really is going to look like. And if you're the son or daughter watching this video, do you have the energy and the time to be able to miss work? Because that's what it's going to be like. You're going to come to the rescue every time that there's an issue. Or if the home care company can't fill the shift because the caregiver didn't show up, they're going to have to either go without care for that day, or they're going to have 3 or 4 different caregivers coming in to fill that 8 or 12-hour shift. How well are you or your loved one going to like that? So it's something to think about, something to talk about. I'm here for you if you're ready, or if you need some guidance on navigating these conversations with your family and navigating these issues so that you can make informed decisions. Again, Annalee Kruger, Care Rights Incorporated. Be well, be safe, and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.